My name is Raudo Pena. I'm currently a security supervisor with the University Security and Protective Services. I am a retired New York City police officer. I retired after 20 years of service, and I moved here to attend this school. I'm going to speak about the worst day of my life was 9/11. On that day, I was actually working on 42nd Street in Midtown Manhattan, several miles north of the towers. And I remember after we heard about the first plane, me and one other officer I worked with went up to the old McGraw-Hill building to take a look and see what we could see. When we got up there, first we thought it was a Cessna, maybe an accident with a Cessna. When we got up to the rooftop of the McGraw-Hill building, I noticed that that hole, even from the distance we were on, was too big. So I said to my partner at the time, that hole is too big, that couldn't be a Cessna. So we started talking about it, and within a couple minutes, I said something, and now it sounds silly. I kind of pointed because I saw the second plane, and I was like, what's that plane doing? And at that point, that's when the plane veered into the towers and hit the towers. At that moment, I realized what was going on. All my energy kind of left my body. I knew what was going on. My next step was I looked over to the Empire State Building and stated, that's next. That's going to be the next building. No sooner I said that, I heard a fighter jet overhead, and I realized whatever was going on was quite big. It was surreal seeing a fighter jet over New York City. Immediately after, I went down to, first I tried to call my family. My phone was totally dead. I went into an office in the building, and the internet was still working, so I just sent out a mass message that I was okay. Went downstairs, just basically directing people. The only thing going at the time was actually a ferry going to New Jersey. So we were directing people, just go to the ferry. And finally a gentleman came back a half hour later just to let me know that the ferry had stopped. They weren't running it anymore. So basically we were just telling people, keep walking north, keep walking north. And I remember telling people, when you get to the Bronx, you'll be all right, because they're not gonna go to the Bronx. That's already messed up. I actually lost some co-workers, people that I actually worked with. There was partners that were lost that actually helped me out when I started in my training. I worked in the precinct that they were out of. So it didn't hit me right away, but a few days later, it's something that it still chokes me up when I talk about it, thinking about these people. Sometimes people call me a hero, and I actually correct them. I tell them, no, unfortunately, the heroes never made it out of the building. For like 3-4 months after the whole incident, whenever I closed my eyes, it didn't have to be to sleep. I could have been washing my face. The image I saw was that plane making the turn into the building. And I know there's other people I worked with that seen a lot worse, because I wasn't assigned to go down there the first day or the second day. The guys that I worked with that went down there actually heard these loud noises and then realized what it was the people jumping out the windows and hitting the ground. And I remember thinking, I'm glad they didn't send me down there the first day, because the guys I worked with told me there's 3 times they had to run for their lives. And I often wonder, with my high blood pressure, what might have happened. The last time they ran, one of my coworkers told me he thought he was going to have to jump into the river because the debris coming towards him. The positives of the whole thing is, the day after it happened, I showed up to work after a long night. I showed up early to work, and I saw 7 brand new police cars from Homestead, Florida. So these guys must have jumped into the car as soon as everything was happening to come and lend a hand. The public was treating us great. Everybody was, in a positive mode. I'm the type that tries to put positive spins on things, and that was one where everybody came together. It didn't matter where you were from or how you looked. Everybody was all about starting the healing process. That's something I hope nobody ever has to go through. I know I don't want to have to go through anything like that again, because it is something that stays with people. Some people still have nightmares over the incident. People that I know, that I worked with.